What's going on, guys? What's going on, Chai Squad? What's going on, everybody? So, the New York Liberty won their first ever championship. Now, this is really, really good because it took the Liberty 28 years or 20 years to get their first championship. And I do want to say this. Sabrina Usko's hitting that 28-footer shot with that Kobe Bryant mentality was very big in this series in game 3 or game 4 in this series, and Brittany Stewart played a big part in this series, having a perfect game in game 4. The entire New York Liberty team played a big part. And we also have to give the Minnesota Lynx some credit. We have to give Nisi Colliver some credit for having a good season because she won Defense Player of the Year for the Minnesota Lynx. Like, the Lynx still have Courtney Williams coming back. The Lynx still have Nisi Colliver coming back next year. I think the Lynx are going to be more motivated like the Liberty was this season. Because the Liberty lost to the Aces last season, and the way that the Liberty lost, I think, wanted to win this game and wanted to win this game most overall, because this was their first ever championship. And when you bring a first championship to a team, when you win a first championship with your team, it's a good feeling because Sabrina Usko, like I said, had a good series. Phoebeus had a good series as a rookie. Phoebeus had a amazing playoffs as a rookie. So Brittany Stewart had a good series in the playoffs. I just think when you look at this New York Liberty team, they could go back to back like the Aces did. They could go back to back like the Aces did and win a title, because when you look at it, the New York Liberty beat the Aces in the second round, and like I said, beat the Aces in the second round this past year, and when Jackie Young hit that free in the Aces New York Liberty series playoff series, to get to the championship round. I'm just going to say this. It's that the Liberty is a good team because they got Aja Wilson. Minnesota is a good team, and the Liberty is an amazing team as well because they won a championship this year. They were the more motivated team, the more motivated team, because when you look at it, you have Brianna Stewart, you have Sabrina School, you have Phoebus, you have Jones. And I definitely think when we look at how New York won this title, they went into 2 overtime games in this series, in this championship series. They went into 2 overtime series in this playoff series against the Lynx. And I know that that next year the championship series will have a new format where they go to 7 games. But I'm going to say this: having 5 games for the WNBA in the playoffs is fine to me. Having 5 games in the WNBA series is fine to me, and having 3 games the first in the first round of the playoffs is fine to me as well. But I get that they're changing the format next year. But with the Liberty winning this championship, like they've been into 2 overtimes. Game 1 and went into overtime, and the Lynx won that one. And then the Liberty refund the Liberty defined back game 2, and then um the Liberty won game 3, and then the Lynx won game 4 and game 3 and game 4. I just think this series overall, when you look at this series overall, you can say that this was the most competitive series that we've seen. I'm not saying like in the playoff round to get to the championship game against the Aces, and the Liberty wasn't an amazing series. That series was an amazing series because look at what Aja Wilson did. I know I'm bringing up the Aces a lot, but this is what my top is. Look at what the Aces did. They made it a tough series for the Liberty in their way to get to the championship round. And coming into this whole series in the playoff round was very interesting because all year the Liberty had a good playoff team, a good regular season team, a good a good regular season team this entire year because you had certain players ready to be ready to come back more motivated and be more motivated. Like they drafted Phoebus in the last draft. They were just the better team. And like last year, I think last year when you lose to the Aces, when the Liberty lost to the Aces, that was a wake up call for the Aces. When you lose to the Aces, when the Liberty lost to the Aces, I think that was a wake up call. I think that was a wake up call saying the Liberty had to come back this season and be more motivated and more on top. Like I would say this. I think that foul with 2.3 seconds or 4.3 seconds in the fourth quarter for Breanna Stewart was A good call. It was a good call. I get that. I get that the Minnesota Lynx are going to be are upset that they're going to say that wasn't a foul call. I get that the Minnesota Lynx are upset that they didn't that they said that wasn't a foul call. But when you look at the replay and you look how Breanna Stewart got the foul, that's totally a foul to me. Because if you play any sport like basketball, football, baseball, you would know what I'm talking about because I play basketball. I play basketball. So that is a foul, and I think I think I think the Minnesota Lynx were just surprised how this was a close game because it was going to be a close game anyway that we were going to see it. Anyway, that we were going to see how Game 5 was going to turn out in this championship round is the way how it was going to turn out because we had two teams that were we had one team that was looking for their first championship, and you had another team that I think was looking for their second championship. And I'm going to say this after the Liberty lost game one, the first team that loses game one of the championship round wins the championship. So I think game one after the Liberty lost game one that woke the Liberty up to win this championship. And I think that shot in game three, like I said, I think that shot in game two, whenever Sabrina Ionescu hit that game winning shot, that 28 game winning shot, that is going to be one of the biggest shots in history. In history, I know that we can say the shot that Typhoon hit for the Liberty back in the 1999 championship. We know, I know we can talk about how Typhoon in the WNBA hit a 47-footer in the 99 championship. We can bring that up. But I think this entire series, I think Sabrina Ionescu, after she hit that 28-footer, that is going to be the most talk about. That is going to be the most talk about shot in the WNBA, the most talk about easy money bucket in the WNBA that we seen with Typhoon's 47-foot jumper in the 99 series. So people are going to put that in the conversation with how this series turned out with Sabrina hitting that shot and with how Breanna Stewart got to the line for that foul, and we can debate about if that was a foul or not. But to me, that is a foul. Um, but I think overall, when you look at it, we had two overtimes in this series. We had two overtimes in this series. The Lynx took game one in overtime, and the Liberty won the championship. Won the championship. It's going to be interesting to see who can next season top 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 the can top that will be the better team to play better against the Liberty, we can see. I can't wait to see who's going to be the better team to match up with the Liberty next year. I can't wait to see who's going to be the better team to match up with the Liberty, or the Liberty might go back to back. I know it's too early for me to say that the Liberty is going to go back to back, because I think we all thought that the Aces was going to win their freebie. And I'm going to say this: the Aces are a good team, the Farts are a good team, the Lynx are a good team. Every team in the WNBA is a good team. And we have to give credit to Breanna Stewart. We have to give credit to Sabrina Usko. We have to give credit to Jones, to Phoebus, to the New York Liberty. Because they were the most motivated team, the most dominated team this year. Now I am going to say this: if we got a Aces New York series, if we did get a Aces New York series, then that would be totally different. But we got a Lynx this year. We got a Liberty Lynx series. Like, when you look at how the Lynx team is, when you look how the Lynx are right now, they could win another championship. I'm not counting out the Lynx. They could win another championship. But New York was more dominant than the were more dominant and more a better team this season. And I'm going to say this: how do you leave? How do you leave? I know I said this before. How do you leave Sabrina Usko off the second? How do you leave Sabrina Usko off the first team this year? Like, I'll give credit to all the players that made the first team, that made the second team, and made all the teams this year, because all the WNBA players were balling. But I'm just going to say this: how do you leave Sabrina Usko, who hit a 28-footer in the championship round, and we saw all the emotion from the Liberty after they won the championship. We saw the emotion, how the New York Liberty won the championship. We saw how the Liberties we saw the Liberty how they were after winning the championship, because that is their first ever championship that they won in 20 something plus years. When it's your first championship and your first championship for the team, when it's your first championship for the team, that means something. So it means something to Breanna Stewart to win her third championship with the Liberty. It means something to Sabrina Usko to win her first championship, because Sabrina Usko was drafted to Liberty. Sabrina Usko did not win a national championship in Oregon with the Oregon Ducks. So it means something to Sabrina Usko hitting that 28-footer jumper and how she was more motivated. It means something to Breanna Stewart to win her third championship. It means something to Sabrina being off the first team this year and being off the first team this year and hitting that 28 jumper, which we can talk about now. And it means something to the whole city of New York. It means something to the whole city of New York. It means something to the whole city of New York because the New York Liberty won a championship. Won a championship. So it means something to the New York fan base. If you're a fan of the New York Knicks, if you're a fan of the Liberty, then it means something because New York Knicks fans and Liberty fans should be excited because with the Liberty winning this championship, I think the Liberty can win another championship because we saw all the emotion last we saw all the emotions in Game 5. So we have to give credit where credit is due to to the Liberty. And some people need to stop sleeping on the WNBA. People that don't watch the WNBA need to stop sleeping on it. Need to stop sleeping on it because we saw an awesome series this year. We saw an amazing playoffs this year all the way to the championship game. This is the first championship since Dr. J and the New Jersey Nets in the NBA. So with the Liberty winning their ever first championship, this is amazing to see because this means a lot to the New York fans, a lot to the city of New York. And New York hasn't had a championship since 1979. So I think how the Liberty played against the Lynx, they were the better team. They were the better team in this season, and I can't wait to see what. And this means a lot to the New York Liberty because when the New York Liberty lost to the Aces last year, that what made them more motivated. And I think what also made New York motivated is that they had a different team. They had Phoebus. They still had Sabrina Osco. Ever since Brianna Stewart, ever since Brianna Stewart signed with the New York Liberty back in 2016, they have had an amazing run. They got to the championship round last year. They got to the championship round last year. The Liberty was just the better team, the better team this year. Like we can't count out the Aces and A'ja Wilson for making it tough in the playoffs to get for the Liberty to um to to get to the championship game. We can't count out all these teams in the WNBA that are playing good basketball every single year. We can't count out any team in the WNBA because I think next year everybody's going to try to figure out how to how to beat the New York Liberty. Every team is now trying to figure out how to beat the New York Liberty because they are the champions. They are the champions right now. Every team's going to try to figure out that because the Aces are going to get better. The Sparks are going to get better. Minnesota is going to get better. It's going to get better in the off season. Every team is going to get better. Caitlin Clark is going to get better. Every team's going to get better. The Fever are going to get better. Every team is going to get better, and we can't say that the Minnesota Lynx made it tough like the Aces did for the Liberty to win this championship. Because this championship means a lot to the Liberty. This championship means a lot. And I think when you have a team that is more motivated, that lost in the championship game last year, that ever since Breanna Stewart has came to the Liberty and made them a playoff team, made them a championship team. Now won a championship. The question is, can the Liberty win another championship? Because Minnesota made it tough on them this year. Minnesota made it tough on the Liberty this year in the championship round. Minnesota made it tough for them because they had them go to two overtimes in the championship round. The last year they lost to AJ Wilson and the Aces. So when you lose to a better team last year in the Aces in the championship round, you have to be more motivated. And the Liberty was more motivated. We can say that Sabrina Usko had a 28-foot shot. We can say that. We can also say that the Liberty was the most motivated team. The Liberty put that team on top. I mean, the Liberty brought a championship to New York this year. Their ever first championship. So when we look back at all of these 5 games in the championship round against the Lynx and the Liberty, we can say this was an amazing series to watch. Yes, the Aces made it tough on them to get to the championship round. Yes, Minnesota made it tough on them in the championship round to win a championship. We can say now that if Sabrina Usko doesn't hit a 28-footer in Game 3 or Game 4, we wouldn't get a Game 5. We wouldn't get a Game 5. Because I think when we look at it from 2 standpoints, if Minnesota doesn't win a game at home, we don't get a Game 5. If Sabrina Usko missed a game winner in Minnesota in Game 4 to win the championship. If the Liberty won a championship, if the Liberty won the championship in Minnesota, if Sabrina Usko never missed that shot at the buzzer in game 4, I think it would be over in 4. But I'm glad that we got a 5th game because we knew that this game would go down to the wire. Because we knew that Nisi Culliver would show up game 4 and Courtney Williams would show up game 4. We knew if we got a game 5 in this series against New York and the Lynx, we knew this would go down as the best series ever. I'm not saying last year's series of the Aces and the Liberty wasn't a good series, wasn't an amazing series. That series was too. But I do have to say, if Sabrina Usko doesn't hit, if Sabrina Usko hits that shot, that is the biggest shot that we're going to talk about. The biggest easy money bucket ever in the WNBA that Sabrina Usko hit will go down as the best shot ever in the WNBA. For the Liberty to win a championship on their home court, if they never lost game 4, the series would be over and we wouldn't got a game 5 like we got. Like we had. Like we had. Like we had for the Minnesota Lynx and Liberty. But guys, sub if you're new and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there and stay blessed, everybody, and peace.